أهلا سي مصطفى. Hello, good evening everyone. Good evening Nathalie Leblanc. Good evening Noel. Si Mustafa Walef, good evening. Nice to have you with us, Si Mustafa. Maybe you have been with us for or on many occasions, but probably this is the first time you are, you comment, you place a comment. Thank you very much. Si Mohamed Boysen, hello. I hope you are doing well. Picasso JSN, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Maybe we probably need to wait for more people to show up. أستاذة سمية مستغفر, hello. أستاذة هنا, أهلا وسهلا. Hello. Glad to have you all with us here. Shayma Alami, good evening. I hope everyone is doing well, and I understand that many of you are involved in intensive preparations for the exam. I wish you all the best in this regard. Oh, thank you, Mustafa Wakrim. Thank you very much for this nice comment, which shows a lot of respect from you, and it also tells us about people's upbringing. When you show kindness to people, it tells us that you are well brought up. So thank you very much, and I hope what we continue to offer here in this channel is of enough importance for students to. I'm not teaching anything here, but I'm just trying to support and to scaffold students who have a few problems relating to the different issues that we are discussing here. Si Mustafa Walef, thank you. Okay, you told me on the phone, but anyway, I wish you're doing well, Si Mustafa, here, and I hope that your task is the task you have been involved in is at its end. I think that the final version is ready now, Si Mustafa. Okay, so I wish you good luck in your in the remaining steps. Si Mustafa Walef was a former master's student at the program in which I teach, and he is also inspector supervisor of English high school, of course, I think in a northern city. And he is also a candidate for a doctorate. So I hope there will come a time when we share this happiness, this celebration with him, inshallah. So good luck, Si Mustafa. 13 people, 2 likes. The 13 people who are watching us here, would you kindly hit the like button? And if you can kindly share the link to this live with the other people, I will be more than grateful. So, waiting for more people to join us, we would like to, maybe spend some time talking about issues. Maybe you can ask questions. You can just give a prompt so that we can get involved in some discussion before our friends join us. So probably we need to wait for maybe more people to reach 20, 25 so that we can start, because it makes no sense for S5 students, for example, who have phonology in the exam, and then so to join us when we are halfway, for example, in the explanation. So let's just wait. Natalie, thank you, Professor. You are a source of inspiration. Oh, Natalie, I know that you are saying that in earnest, so thank you very much. I'm very happy that you together with the other friends here, you regularly watch these live sessions, despite the fact that you may not maybe find what we say here of immediate relevance to the exams that are drawing near, because you are doing probably more advanced stuff. Okay, nice. برحو, good evening. سي برحو. عزدين تحية عطيرة أيها الأخ. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Azdin is my brother, who has a very good command of the Arabic language, and so he usually, writes in Arabic. So this is nice. This is a good addition to the family. All right. So thank you very much once again. Well, is there anything that you would like us to start this session with? It looks like you are a bit tired. I just don't want to start with the 17 people here, because I'm afraid when we are halfway, more people will join, and they may lose the point. and I understand that they have other things to do. So I would love to leave if we have enough people here, means that we leave the other discussion towards the end. Okay, while we work on the rules underlying the phonological data sets that you have in those screenshots that I posted. Barahul says, I have a question, please. If we are asked to provide arguments for the VP constituent, what are the arguments that are supposed to write? Thank you in advance. For the VP constituent, well, one of the arguments is the replacement of the verb, like so. For example, to do so. For example, I read the whole story. I did. So it's I did so, or just I did. Just I did. So the fact that we can replace a whole chunk by the word did attests to the fact that, for example, read the whole story is an adverb phrase. Is a verb phrase. But I don't know in which context you are asking, this question. I mean, is it just the existence of the verb phrase? Yes, for the existence of the noun phrase, the most oft quoted, oft referred to test is the test of pronominalization. Can we find a similar tendency with verbs, a similar behavior for verbs? Yes. How? It's by being able to replace it with did. Just imagine we have the verb, he read the whole story, and we replace did. Can I say he did the whole story? That will not give us any, that will not be grammatical. He did the whole story, to mean that he read the whole story. So, and then you have so did I, neither did I. These are ways of proving that the verb phrase exists, and the constituents where the verb is ahead, sometimes they behave, and as long as it is a phrase, it behaves as one chunk. Constituents in general are constituents only because they have a behavior as a group. They display behaviors as a group, as groups. So read the whole story. You have 1, 2, 3. Read the whole story. You have 4 words here, and they behave as though they were one group. How do we know? It's by having them be replaced by the auxiliary did. That's what we refer to as the do support. He did. Okay. He did not read the story. No, he did. It means he read the story. Okay. That's as simple as this. Sibrahu. Mohammed Al-Zraq, good evening, Professor. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much, Mohammed Al-Zraq. Really nice. What is the difference between applied linguistics and linguistics applied? This is debate that has been driving a wedge among, but that's a debate that does not. Now what we have is more applied linguistics rather than linguistics. Some would confuse the two, and they call it just applied linguistics. But linguistics applied, it means that that linguistics can be applied to certain areas that are not necessarily linguistic. A case in point is what we call forensic linguistics. In forensic linguistics, you want to speak of linguistics applied because you have findings in linguistics that inform a totally different, field. But I don't think that this debate is one that holds water. It's more of an epistemological rather than pedagogical or an empirical question. But Si Mustafa, thank you very much, because you are bringing up an issue that was debated for some time, and now it looks like that there are fewer discussions for this topic. There is an article, I don't know who the author was. It's entitled Linguistics Applied, just like that, and they discuss this debate. I hope you are giving me a chance to go and read more about these epistemological discussions about the delimitations of applied linguistics and linguistics applied. But in what we do here, in what you do, and what is done at the Moroccan University, it's mostly applied linguistics. Okay, it's the one that has gained volume in research, and it's the one that is more renowned as an application of findings of linguistic theory. Okay, Now, Barahou says, here is the question. Draw a tree diagram for the following sentence and provide arguments for the constituent underlined. The German teacher taught the German grammar in an efficient way. So, taught the German grammar in an efficient way. You can argue for it by showing that this can be replaced. Okay. Okay, you can say, if I give you the negative of this sentence, the German teacher did not teach, or the German teacher abandoned the grammar. No, did not teach German grammar in an efficient way. No, I say no, he did. He did. He did not teach grammar in efficient. No, he did. So the fact that you are adding this did here as a device for emphasizing this, and this means that you are replacing the whole. It means that there is evidence for this constituent, which is taught German grammar in an efficient way, as one block. For example, you cannot assume, for example, just taught the German grammar and you put the adjunct outside. Okay. So the whole thing is a VP, and this VP, of course, is related to the NP, the German teacher. The other argument is that that's argument one. It's the fact of replacing. The second argument is that in discourse we cannot, for logical reasons, you cannot have just a noun phrase and assume that it is a sentence. It's always incomplete because the piece of information we want to impart by means of uttering a given sentence is not complete. Just imagine, for example, says, as I always say to my students, if someone comes into the classroom and says hello, and you reply hello, let me tell you something today. What happened? The German teacher, and stop. You see? German teacher. So what do you mean German teacher? You need this very fundamental part of the sentence, which is called the VP. In semantics, it is referred to as a predicate, and in discourse, it's a predicate. Why? And in Arabic, it's very important because the term that we use in Arabic, you have al-mubtada, and then you have al-khabar. Al-khabar huwa mutimmun lil-fa'ida. It means what? It means our noun phrase, no matter how detailed they are, our noun phrases, no matter how detailed they are, no matter how many words they include, they remain incomplete, okay, in the absence of the VP. So because it's fundamental for the completion of the information, there is good reason to say that taught the German grammar in an efficient way is the information I want to impart. That's new information. So new information falls on the VP rather than on the NP. Okay, nice. So I have given you at least two arguments here to show that the VP can be argued for in a nice way and in a clear way. Okay, Nuni, Nunus, what beautiful names I have here. Could you please, Professor, provide some arguments related to the components we have studied in syntax this semester? NP, raising constructions, I2C movement. I appreciate your effort, Professor. Well, so NP's raising constructions, you mean NP in raising constructions. I think the arguments are straightforward and clear when it comes to these things, and this is something we talked about time and again. So let me, I think you did not ask me about passive voice here, but let me just say something I said before. Maybe this is the third or fourth time I say it, but it's really nice, good. Noun phrases move because there is this pressing need for appropriate case assignment by the finite info. I repeat, noun phrases undergo movements from their extraction site to their landing site with the sole purpose of picking up case features. Why? Because in the place when they originate, either they have case and they lose it, like the situation of case absorption in passive constructions. We say that the agentive morpheme, which is abstract, comes and picks up the accusative case assigned by the verb to the NP. And because the NP has its features absorbed by the agentive morpheme, it incurs, by definition, a violation of case filter. So the solution is for this noun phrase to move to another position where it will be near the I0, you see, and then it will be safe there, and it will, be assigned appropriate case features by the finite info. Now, so ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about NP movements in general, noun phrases move for reasons of case assignment. And this, of course, the type of case and the circumstances under which this obtained situation obtains of losing case filter or being caseless depends as we move from one movement into another. Now, for you talked about NP raising constructions. NP movement in raising constructions, we talked about it this way: NP movement in raising constructions. When we hear this, just hearing this should remind you of the difference between seem-type verbs and other verbs. Sorry. If you have a seem-type verb like seem, appear, be likely, you see what is common to these verbs: seem, and then appear, and then be likely. What is common to these three words, or to these three verbs, is that there is a possibility of paraphrasing a phrase containing these verbs by adding it, which is referred to as the pleonastic pronoun. I repeat, when you have a sentence, just give it a try. Think up of any sentence where you have seem or appear or be likely. You can say it that way. I will give you an example in a moment, but you can also paraphrase it by adding it. So that when I say, my friend seems angry, to be angry. My friend seems to be angry. Can I paraphrase this by adding it? Yes, I can. Kifash? How? I can say, my friend seems to be angry, or it seems that my friend is angry. Two versions. Okay? Two versions for seem. My friend appears to be happy. It appears that my friend is happy. My friend is likely to be happy. It is likely that my friend is happy. So when you add it here, you add next to it that. So it seems that. Now, this is another way of saying the same thing I said before. Now, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. All sentences that have seem, these verbs, seem, appear, etc., if you don't put it, you have to be. But when you have it, it means you have that, and that as a complementizer is plus finite, automatically plus finite, okay? So it seems that. We will no longer have this to be. This verb will be conjugated. It seems that my friend is. So it's not to be anymore. So you can use this idea as both an argument and a way of explaining the difference between a raising predicate and a control predicate. We will see what the control predicate is in a moment. Now, in a raising predicate, what happens is that we move from this to this. So this pushed people, for example, my friend seems to be happy. The underlying representation or the deep structure with these seem-type verbs, just consider only three, but there are more. For example, it tastes, but we don't say it tastes that, or my feel also, feel, because you have my friend feels something to be, but that's rare. But we can say it feels that the weather is, etc. But I would love to concentrate just on these three because these are the ones that are more popular scene type verbs. The assumption, that's the thing that you need to understand, dear syntax student. We have two levels here. Because we are doing generative syntax, we have a deep structure and a surface structure. The deep structure of scene type verb is VSO, verb, subject, object. So we have verb, subject, object means you have seems, X, to be happy. This is, of course, unusual in English because in English we know that sentences start with subject and then verb and then etc. But there is something about the sentences involved in scene type verb, that pushed syntacticians to believe and to argue for the idea that with these verbs, the subject is generated post-verbally, after the verb. Okay, but look at this. I repeat this idea, please. With sentences where you have seem, appear, and be likely, these are called scene type verbs. The resulting situation, okay, first, the assumption is that we have the verb, and then we have the subject, and then we have to be or to see. Okay, so the question is, if this is the case, then why don't we find sentences like that in books, in texts that we read? We have never found something like seemed John to be happy. The answer is that in reality, this does not exist. Why? This exists, but only at deep structure. Seems John to be happy exists, but only at deep structure. Why doesn't it exist at surface structure? Answer very quickly. If this structure is permitted at surface structure, if we can find, for example, in books, seems my friend to be, I don't know, this X here, which is the NP, noun phrase, will fail. Why will fail? Because it will violate case filter. What is this case filter? Case filter says you cannot have a noun phrase if you do not assign case to it. Waha. Seems John to be happy. How can I know if John to be happy has case or not? There is another information that we need to know. How do we know? We know it because universally, if info I0 or T0, it depends on, I0 or T0 is non-finite. This doesn't have the right of assigning case. Why? Because it does not have the features. It has nothing. It's locked. When you have a verb in the infinitive, it's like the verb is deactivated. You cannot see features on it except minus finite, etc., non-finite, which declares that the fact that it is deactivated, it's unable to assign case. Is it able to assign case? No. So here, this NP, the deep structure, gives us seemed John to be happy. It comes to the surface level. We have a problem. So we need to do some adjustment. Where is the problem? The problem is that this NP occurs in the neighborhood of a verb which is not conjugated. In syntax, we use the term non-finite info. An info or a tense, T, is non-finite. The verb is infinitive. Non-finite means infinitive. And therefore, because only when I0 or T0 are plus finite, only in this situation can they assign case. Here, they cannot assign case. Impossible. So if we keep the deep structure seems John to be happy? In reality, no, because this NP here violates case filter. What's the solution? The solution is that this NP has to move here. Why here exactly? Because if it moves here, it will find a conjugated verb. And the S here on the conjugated verb means that the I0 is plus tense plus agreement. Now, our I0 or T0, which is plus tense plus agreement, is able to assign case. So here, case is properly assigned. When you have, for example, John here, it's okay. That's why when we read, when we listen to English, being spoken in a discourse, when we read, we will never have something like seemed John to be, but we will have John seemed to be. So at the surface structure, you will never have the verb and then the subject. Do you understand? So here we are talking about the derivation of John seemed to be happy. If you are asked this question, how is John seemed to be happy derived? Your answer should be that at deep structure, there is reason to believe that what we have is V, NP, and then to be happy. But because NP plus a non-conjugated verb is not possible, the NP has to fly somewhere. Where? To the nearest place possible where the I0, where the verb is conjugated. Why? Because that verb which is conjugated means that the I0 is active. And therefore, it is a case assigner. It is able to assign case, as Mr. Al-Anzawi Abdul Ilah says, only finite info or finite T, tense, depending on the approach, can assign case. But it's the same category. Some call it T0, some call it I0. Okay? So thank you. All right. Nice. Now, the question is, what is the argument? Do we have evidence that what we have, oops, where is this? It's here. Okay. Sorry. Do we have evidence? Do we have evidence that John here to be happy? Just to make sure it's near this, because this is the one that is important. Anyway, so John here, as I said, we postulate that it comes after the verb, and because it violates case filter هنايا, it has to move here so that we'll have on the surface level, we have John seemed to be happy, and it leaves a trace here. Yeah. As I said, because this is conjugated, so it will have proper case assignment and it will satisfy case filter. How do we know? The answer is that we know because when you introduce it as a paraphrase of the sentence, it is referred to as a pleonastic pronoun. Pleonastic, like this. Pleonastic pronoun, and pleonasm in French, okay? Pleonastic pronoun. Here, you have this NP that moves here. When you add the pleonasm, sorry, I don't know why I inserted this moves here. We know it, so it's not good to repeat ideas. Now, when you introduce this pleonastic pronoun, it, pleonastic, it means that when you say it, it's not like you are replacing something, the book, and you are saying it to the book. No. This is another it that does not have meaning at all. It's there syntactically, but in terms of meaning, it doesn't have it does not refer to anything in the outside world. That's why we say it is impossible for you to go. It is impossible. It refers to what? You see? So this is the type of it that we have here. One characteristic of this it is that when you have it, when it is introduced to these types of sentences, It generates that. You have to use that. It appears that, it seems that, it is likely that. And that, as a complementizer, has this characteristic of being plus finite minus WH, plus finite. Okay, it's plus finite. See that here. The clause that comes should be conjugated. Okay, good. So, and when this clause that should be conjugated, to be happy will be conjugated. كيفاش غتولي؟ غتولي is happy. It seems that John is happy. I will have it seemed that John هي عندي seemed وعندي موراها John. You see? So John is post-verbal after seem, but this time it doesn't violate case filter. With the introduction of this pronoun it doesn't violate case filter. Why? Because to be happy has become is happy. The verb now is conjugated, is activated, and therefore the John does not have to move because it satisfies case filter where it is. You know, is happy. Okay, so I hope that you understand this. This situation, ladies and gentlemen, does not hold when you have other types of verbs. When you have, for example, decide, we cannot say look, John seemed to be happy is generated as seemed John to be happy. John decides to be happy or decided to be happy. Here it's not decided John to be happy. No. It's John decided to be happy. How do we know? كيفاش هادشي؟ You know, seem you have the NP post-verbal, but decide the NP is pre-verbal. The answer is that we don't have an argument for decide John to be happy. No, because when we add to a word like decide or want or other verbs apart from these, when you add the pleonastic pronoun, it will be ungrammatical. We cannot say it decided that he will be happy. So look at this. John seemed to be happy. It seems that John will be happy. John seems to be happy. It seemed that John was happy. It seems that John is happy. Whatever the tense, what is important is that when you introduce it, you conjugate the verb and it's grammatical. Now, think of John tried to be happy. Can I say it tried that John is happy? You've never read this, and you will never read it unless it comes from someone who does not know English. Okay? So here, the addition of the pleonastic pronoun is a strong argument to show that in same-type verbs, the subject, NP, is generated post-verbally. In what way is it an argument? It's because when you introduce it, the subject does not have to move. Because when you introduce it, you activate, it goes with that, the complementizer, and that makes the next clause finite. So there is going to be no need for movement. And this is called the control predicate. So we have a raising, we call it a raising predicate because John will raise, because if you write these in a tree diagram, then John is lower. So John will have to raise to the main subject position. And because this is a clause. This is a clause. And it has to move from this clause to the upper clause where it will find appropriate tense assignment and it will not be, it will not suffer, it will not incur a violation of case filter. Decide or want, okay, etc. You see, want. He wanted to travel. He wanted to travel. So what we have is he wanted, not wanted he to travel. No, I don't know. Because we cannot have something like it wanted him to travel. No, it's not like it seemed to travel or something like that. It seemed that John is happy. It wanted that he want to travel. No, you see. So keep these in mind, please. And in the second, so here you have a trace. With same type verb, you have a trace. With, let me, I don't know if more people are interested in this, but let me just open another document. It's to provide with an addition. Okay. Okay. Seemed. John seemed to be happy. Okay, fine. Now let's deal with this. John seemed to be happy. صافي انتم شوفوا هاب it's happy. Okay, because I cannot write here. John tried to be happy. On the face of it, they are the same. Same elements, same number of elements, and same pairs. John seemed. Here, this is a verb, and this is a verb. This verb subcategorizes or selects a clause. علاش حيت عندي a verb هنايا. And this verb selects a clause. So far, they are on an equal footing. They have the same behavior. So let's try. Okay. Now, here and here, we have clauses. A clause, because there is a verb and there is a complementizer, it's a clause. But because we have, there is a universal principle known as the extended projection principle, the EPP, the extended projection principle. This extended projection principle requires every clause to have a subject. It means what? It means that if there is a clause where there is no subject, the clause is ungrammatical. Okay, good. So here, by this principle of extended projection principle, there is this assumption that John was here and it has traveled for the reasons I have talked to you about. And therefore, we have a trace. It has left a trace. In the tree diagram, this trace will be an NP, an N double bar. And it will be the specifier of IP because and I told my students time again that the main subject in any clause has to be the specifier of an IP, of an I double bar, or in other words, of a T double bar for some other students. Okay, T instead of I double bar, it's the same. Okay, so here we have a trace. For this story that I told you, it has moved from here to here, and it has left a trace. Well, how do we know? Number one, okay, John seemed to be happy. We cannot say John seemed his friend to be happy, for example. So this cannot be filled, except if we have John here. Otherwise, it's just a trace. Okay, but in the second sentence, we do not have a way of arguing for tried John to be here. They don't have the same story. They don't have the same life story. No. Why? Why not? Because we don't have evidence that try behaves like seem. Why? Because if you add it will be fine here, but will not be fine here. We don't have a guarantee. If we postulate John to be generated here, and we say that it has moved, we don't have a guarantee that it will re-emerge if we introduce it. Here we do have a guarantee. For example, John seemed to be happy, or it said that John is happy. Here, no, there is no way we can argue that this was here. So what's the solution? The solution is to postulate that because we have this constraint, this universal constraint called the extended projection principle, okay? So we postulate that there is an empty category. The subject is here, Cain subject, Cain, it's here. It just happens not to be visible. It just happens not to be visible, but it's syntactically active. Okay, so we call it a pro. A big pro. This is a raising predicate. This is a control predicate. Why do we call it control? By the way, some of you, especially the students who have these questions in mind, because I received many, in private message on Messenger. This pro ياك قلنا باللي this is not conjugated and we have an NP here in the form of a pro. You see? And yet we say that it's grammatical. The answer is that case filter applies only to overt noun phrases. It does not apply to covert ones. This is a covert, this is an empty category. It's not lexical. Okay? So case filter applies only to lexical categories. Now, this is all. It's not lexical. It means it's not a lexical item. It's not seen. It's not visible. It does not have a meaning. It's not visible, but it's there syntactically. Okay, good. So here we say that the case features, the case characteristics, or the case of this pro, the nominative case, is controlled by John. How do we know? It's because this pro. Wait a minute. Who tried? شكون? Who tried? It's John. Who will be happy? It's John. So this pro is a representative of John. You understand or you don't understand? I hope you do. Okay? Donc, the key word. The key test is whether an add in this will make this the noun phrase re-emerge here or not. Here, as I said, yes. Here, no. So we postulate a pro here where there is no movement, there is no violation of case filter. You may ask me, where does this bring case? Case is just assigned here, and this is just a pro. It's like a shadow. This is the shadow of this. You see? shadow. We have a trace. We say it was here. It's like it is here. It just happens to be here on the surface level to pick up the appropriate case features. I hope I have made things clear enough. I don't know who asked me this question. Yeah, it was Nuni Nunus. This weird name, Nuni Nunus, has asked this question. And it has the question has taken us a bit far afield, but it's for good reason, because we have people following us here. So let me have a sip. All right. Picasso GSM, this highly qualified scholar will soon publish a very important article on the structure of galaxy structure. Yes. Okay, Picasso, Prof, please, I have a question concerning the adjuncts. Are we going to make copies for the bar? Yeah, for the V bars or the N bars? So let me read the sentence again. This highly qualified scholar will soon publish a very important article on, yeah. Now for the very important article, very important. Very important. The question is for the N bar, Picasso. You are asking a very important question. That's why I want your attention and the attention of your friends here. Both elements here, conceived of as adjuncts. Is it an adjunct to the verb? Does it give us the information? Shuffle. If you want to decide whether an adjunct is related to the verb or related to the noun, just stop for a second, just a second, and think what this group of words, which we refer to as an adjunct, refer to or modify, or it's about what element? Is it about the verb? Are these about the verb, my dear friends? Very important. What is very important? Very important, article. Meshi, very important, publish. So automatically, very important goes to article. So you need to create a copy of the N bar here. And the other one, on the structure of galaxy clusters, sorry. Here, the same thing. So it's the article it is on the structure of galaxy clusters. Has nothing to do with the verb. Okay? Has nothing to do with the verb. It's the article which is on galaxy clusters. بالحق, the last adjunct in an international journal, here the story is different. Because, in an international journal answers the question of where. Where what? Where the publishing is taking place. So the last one has to relate to the verb. Yes. Okay? It's the adverb of place. Do something where. To publish where. That's the understand. The others, no, the others are related to the n double bar. So you need to create the n, okay, n double bar, of course, because within the np. So you need to create two copies of the n bars and one copy of the v bar. Is that fine? So Picasso GSM, I hope you understand this. Barahu, thank you, Professor. Thank you, Barahu. Hiba Hinawi. Hello, dear Professor. I hope you're doing. I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Now that there is this interaction, it's good. It's really nice. So thank you very much, Hiba. Khadija, lamf. But never mind. Khadija Lamf. Hey, Professor, could you provide us with arguments that support T2C movement? T2C movement, otherwise also known as I2C movement, my dear friends, here, I think I am watched by my own students and students maybe who have studied in other classes. Sometimes there is this slight difference between professors. Some of us use info, as I do, to refer to the inflection, to the plus tense plus agreement. Other people, use T, which is tense. Both of these, this is very general, this is very specific, but both of them refer to the same thing. Just to tell you, so don't worry. On the day of the exam, liktib T مزيانة, liktib info مزيان, liktib I means info, تاهي مزيان. نحيدوا هذا الشيء. So we take this out of this. Now, for I2C movement, the first thing that we have to talk about is why should I2C movement take place? Okay. Let's write something like this. She will what? She will read the story. I just wanted an intransitive verb so that I will not make it long, but it's fine. Read the story. She will read the story. Now, she will read the story is a sentence and it contains one clause. Fine. Clauses, as you know, ladies and gentlemen, have a very, 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 very important element called the complementizer. A clause of whatever nature it is, okay, is driven by the complementizer, which we refer to as C0. This complementizer can be overt, can be covert, we don't know, but it's there, it's active. So we always need to postulate the existence of, you see, a C0. That's why our clauses are all called CPs or C double bar. You see. So the C0 here in she will read. She will read something. Here the C0 is minus WH. Let me write it clearly. Minus WH. Minus WH. C0 has this feature of minus WH. What does this mean? This means that the next, the clause should be a declarative sentence at least, not a question. Should not be a question because we have this minus WH. Okay. Now, just imagine we have a situation where the complementizer is plus WH. Okay, so let me. I think let me do it better. In a better way. So you have C double bar, C bar, C0, and then you have I double bar, A double bar, I bar, and then I 0. And for the other friends, this is a T double bar, okay? So here C0 is plus WH. Hi. C0 is plus WH. What does it mean? It means that what we have here is a question. Okay, nice. Now, this I0 inflection is attracted to this C0. Why? Because inflection, ولا T, that category called info, it's the place, it's the place where all the features, the abstract features related to the clause, the information about the clause, whether it's finite, non-finite, whether it's there is agreement, there is no agreement, all those features are here. Okay? And WH feature, has to fall also here. This needs plus WH actually. Because there is nothing to give it these features, it has to move to the nearest head where this feature exists. So that's why we have إلى عندي will هنايا. For example, she will read the story. This will needs this extra feature because it's in a situation where it needs it, because you have a question. So there is an alert here. Hey, you don't need just plus agreement here. You also need plus WH. Allez, go. So it's not here, so it will find it here. That's why it moves to the head. That's why we have will she travel. Okay. Now, can I say, and this is the people who are asking about the argument, can I say, is he, no, okay, let's leave it with will. Can I say, will she should travel? Can I say this? Will she? Hi. Will she should read the story? Will she should travel? Will she does travel? No, you cannot, for obvious reasons, of course. Maybe an S1 student will answer this question without any problem. But we need to provide a principled account of the situation, of the state of affairs. Okay, so the fact that this slot here, this place, cannot be taken by another model or another auxiliary is evidence that the one that we have here comes from here. While we say she will read the story, in the case of question, this has to travel here, will she, and it has to leave a trace, so that no other category, similar category, will come and fill this place. You see, so that's a nice argument. The other argument is that this needs a plus WH feature, that's why it has to be there. And the third argument comes from indirect questions. Indirect questions. While we say, will she, look at this, will she read the story? Will she read the story? I can paraphrase this by saying, I wonder whether. عقلتوا على whether ولا ما عقلتوش؟ Whether is always minus WH. I repeat. The reason why we do not invert, and this is, by the way, this is a classical mistake, and this is a mistake that is frequent among even some advanced students. It's maybe a fossilized error. Some people will say, I wonder whether will she go. I wonder whether will she read. If you hear this, it means it's a mistake. Okay? Why? It's because whether is a minus WH complementizer. And therefore, inversion is not, there is no reason to invert. علاش inversion أصلا inversion, it means that the C0 is plus WH. That's why, the inflection or the T, the auxiliary comes to it. But if it's minus WH, elements will, chaque élément, reste chez lui ou chez elle, it depends on chez lui. Okay. You see? So when I say I wonder whether, wash are you ولا you are, it's you are. Why? Because whether is minus WH. There is no reason for inversion. Inversion does not take place haphazardly. Inversion, by the way, it's movement. In syntax, it's I to C movement or T to C movement. Okay, so that's at least you have two arguments here clearly showing that or showing evidence of WH, sorry, not WH, I to C movement. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Who else asked me this question? Khadija Lamf. Only the finite infinite sign case. I absolutely agree with you. Kautar Ubal. Kautar has deleted her message. Is she angry or I don't know? Never mind. Kautar, if you are still here and you would like to ask a question, please do that. Nathalie Leblanc, pleonastic pronoun is used without referring to a nominal antecedent. Yeah, pleonastic pronoun, it does, it's empty of any semantics. That's the thing. It's there just to fill a space that we are required to fill. Thank you very much, Nathalie Leblanc, for following us. Nuni Nunus, God knows who she is or who he is, but I don't know. I have a feeling she's a female because this Nunus is more feminine. Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much, Nuni Nunus. Thank you. Yusfi Alawi, hey sir. Hello, Sidi Alawi. Can you explain how subject als inversion in English is accounted for in generative syntax and if arguments to support that? I think that's what I have done. See, Yusuf, I think you have your question antedates my explanation, so it's fine. So I think I have answered that question. Bintakhu Zakaria, hello, wonderful professor. Thank you, wonderful Zakaria. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time and efforts. Your live sessions are really making a difference. I hope so. Thank you very much. We're doing our best. Thank you. So now for syntax, it will come tomorrow, inshallah, because I have been asked by a number of students. So this is a call for those of you who are here, who are listening to me. Just one of you, send me 2 or 3 previous exams and we will do that. I need at least 3 exams or 2 or 1, it depends. So we can reserve a session for this tomorrow, no problem. So send me some copies of previous exams and I will be here to, to explain this, to talk about this, its elements, and we discuss the suggested answers. Okay. Safesi Zakaria, yeah, I will do that without problems. Okay, now is time ripe for phonology? Some of you come because there is phonology, but it's good to talk about pieces of phonology and syntax. You see, thank you. So let me excuse the noise that this board, look at it. There's noise at every single movement. Yeah. Okay. Natalie says yes. Thank you, Natalie. Thank you for always being there. You are thirsty for any new piece of information. This is really nice. This characterizes you as a young intellectual, as a young scholar. Because I know that you have advanced knowledge in linguistic stuff and you covered more advanced stuff than what we do, but yet you continue to accompany us in these live sessions. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, can we move on to phonology? Well, let's move to phonology, and we will start with the first exercise. Let me retrieve it. Chernobyl says yes. Okay, let's move to the first. Alors, I'm still your academic companion. Okay, nice. Okay. So let's go to the first data set. Please have them ready. I think you have them. You choose one. Would you like us to start? Would you like us to start with the data? Starting with the Tobola data. Okay, in southern Congo, we find T, S, and Z in complementary distribution with Ch, J, and Sh and J respectively. The first question is, state the distribution of those sounds. In which environment does each sound occur? So tell us. Do you have a suggestion? Have you made an attempt? Okay. So in this data set, I wonder if I can share it. Let's give it a try and see. So here you have share screen, fenêtre. Yeah. I think I need to open the data separately. Yeah. Voilà. So let me see if it can do the job. Fenêtre. Voilà. So partager. Let me see. I will look at this in my mobile and see if you can. Please react. Please react to whether you can see this or not. React to whether. Is the screen successfully shared? No. Je sais pas pourquoi. I need to find a way. Le partage. In any case, you can. Well, never mind. So just follow. Please type yes if you have this data set at hand. Okay, type yes if you have this data set at hand. Natalie says yes. Yes. Okay. Very good. Okay. So let's look at that data set, please. Okay, the Tobola data. So we have T, S, Z, and Ch, Sh, and J. Now, T occurs, when does T occur here? If we look at this data, or this data set, you will find that T, oh, I forgot this, wait, I think I missed it. Nice. So if you look at this data set, you will find that T, S, and Z, okay, occur in have a wider distribution, yes or no? Okay. T occurs, for example, you have O after it. Let's look at another T in the data. You have it followed with U in the second column, third word, it's Nzwe, and then Tu. And then that's the only occurrence of T. So T occurs word initially before O, and then it occurs, after or before U, word finally. So let's look at the distribution of S. S, you have the third element in the first column, it's K, so. And then you have U, and then and then you have say in the second column, the last one, say. And then if we look at Z, what we have is okay, Zenga. Look at this Zenga. Zenga in the first column, probably the fifth one. And you have Zevo, so we have E, and then you have E again, and then you have W in the second row, third column. and then U, etc. What is the conclusion? The conclusion from this is that the conclusion, okay, the conclusion, yeah, because we have to make them uniform. So look at this. Let me give you this tip, ladies and gentlemen. When a professor asks you to account for the behavior of 3 sounds versus 3 other sounds, it means what? It means one of the 3 sounds is derived and the other ones are underlying. So let's just okay, so you say t occurs before u, and a, but the other remaining sounds in the set, for example, s and z, have totally different environments again. So the environment where t, s, and z, the environment where t, s, and z occur, is wide. It means that we have different occurrences, different places where these 3 sounds occur. Now, my hypothesis, this is how I handle data in phonology. Can we expect, for example, the second set to occur in a specific environment, t, sh, and j? Okay. That's number one. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, when you do phonological analysis, try to have some hypotheses before you look at the data. Why? Because try to find something. Try to think about a logical process. For example, can t, s, z become ch, sh, and j? Of course. That's a natural process. There are many languages where s is pronounced as sh. And there is this relation. Okay, some ethnicities would say, would produce sh instead of s, and so forth. So this is just a hypothesis, a sheer guess at the moment. Now, which is more natural? Which is more natural? Is it for t to become a ch, or is it for a ch to become a t? Think of Moroccan Arabic. Think of other languages. So the process, what we should naturally expect is for t to become ch. So deja, already before I even look at the specific occurrences of the ch and sh and j, I already have a preconceived or a preliminary idea of a preliminary hypothesis of what the situation should look like in the data. So let's look now at the occurrence of ch, sh, and j. So we have China. So we have e. Let's look at ch, and then chiba. That's e again. So we have 2 occurrences of ch. Let's look at sh. Okay, you have nko, shi. Okay, and then you have, that's all. How about j? Look at this. You have jima and ji. You see ji. So the 3, ladies and gentlemen, so the 3 sounds sh, j, and ch, yeah, ch, sh, and j, occur in one single environment. They occur next or before e. Is that fine? Now, what is e? Is this logical for these sounds to occur next to e? Yes. Yes, it is natural for these sounds to occur before e, because e is a vowel which is a high front, okay? And ch is articulated in the place in relatively the same area as e. So it's more like an assimilation, but it's not assimilation here. We will see. Conclusion, while the first set of sounds t, s, z occur in different environments, s or sh, j, and ch occur in a restricted environment. They occur only when they are before e. which feeds the idea that the occurrence of t, d, and z, the occurrence of t, s, and z to become, okay, which feeds the idea that t, s, and z become ch, sh, and j before front vowels. Do we have allophony here? Yes, we do. Do we have predictability of occurrence here? Yes, we do. Is it logical? Yes, it is. You see, most languages that have affrication processes and palatalization processes are languages where, a non-palatal becomes a non-palatal. Yalawi says no. No for what, Sidi Yalawi, please? Yeah, so t occurs before o. Yes, e occurs before front vowel. Sidi Yalawi, I don't know what. No, perhaps for I don't know if you meant that there was no screen. Okay, share. Anyway, so we have a situation like this. Okay, now, of course, we have now. How can we? What is the question here? The question is state the distribution of these sounds. In which environment does each sound occur? So what we need to do here is to say in plain English, because you are not at this level here, you are not asked to write the rule, but just state, of course, the a, the o, and u that you're talking about for the three consonants. It's very easy. But for the first set and for the second set, you say that the three occur before a front vowel, before e. Yeah, see, because you're not asked to do features here, just before e. It's like a gift question, very easy to handle. Just observe and tell the world where these sounds occur. Now, the second question, which sounds should be taken as representing the underlying phonemes? The answer now is obvious. What should be taken as the underlying phoneme is the set t, s, and z. Why? Because they occur in more contexts, and the other ones occur in a restricted context. That's an argument. Another argument is that the occurrence of the sh, j, and ch, it's predictable. Wherever you have, for example, a t sound before a front vowel, make it a ch sound. So this is what we refer to as predictability of occurrence. Again, is it natural? Yes, it is. It's more natural for an affricate, for a stop to become an affricate than for an affricate to become a stop. That's how historically languages have evolved. Okay, so now we have answered, I guess, question number 2. Unless you have further details to ask about, ladies and gentlemen, and we have even justified it by means of the elsewhere condition. So just use elsewhere, occurs elsewhere, or occurs in has a wider distribution. That's the idea, and that's a basis for the underlying nature of the sound that is distributed that has wider distribution, that is found in many contexts, is one that is more likely to be the underlying sound, and the one that occurs in specific contexts is the one that is predictable. Natalie, the sound that appears in more phonological contexts can be taken to represent the underlying phoneme, as Nathalie Leblanc rightly and precisely and directly and concisely says. Thank you, Nathalie. All right, so let's move on, please. Write a formal rule to account for this distribution. Here we have to stop. Now, do you have another question there, I guess? What is the process? What is the process, ladies and gentlemen? Let me see if you can type the process here. T become ch. What does sh, j, and ch, what do they share? What do they share? What do they share that the others do not? Like s, z, and t. Sorry, like t, s, z, yes. I repeat this question, ladies and gentlemen. What do the sounds sh, j, and ch have in common? What do they have in common? What feature do they have in common? That's question one. Question two, what do these have in common that the others do not? هذه هي الفرق بيناتهم. Okay, so sh, physically, articulatorily, what is it? Mustafa Murshid, are you with us or have you left? I miss your comments here. Okay, nice. So what do they have in common? Sh is a palatal fricative. We know that it's post-alveolar or palatal fricative. It's not just it's not just voicing, because we have a mixture of voiced and voiceless, I guess, here. J, sh, no, they don't have voicing as no, they don't share Kautar. No. So what they share, so إلى خدينا sh, what is sh? Articulate. What's the place of articulation of sh? It's a palatal fricative. What's the place of articulation for j? It's a palatal fricative. The difference is one of them is voiced, voiceless. Donc voicing ما محسوبش هنايا. احنا we are looking for what is common. And what is ch? Ch is alveopalatal. Donc there is a palatal element there. There is palatality shared there. We use the feature, we call it palatality. So what they share is palatality. What they share is the palatal place of articulation. Okay? So, s, is it a palatal? No. T, is it a palatal? No. Z, is it a palatal? No. D, is it a palatal? No. Conclusion, in this process, the three sounds that we have, the first three sounds, T, S, and Z, T, S, and Z, become palatal sounds before front vowels. صافي. Okay? Alors, become palatal, it's one way of saying they are palatalized. And someone wrote here, the process is palatalization. So here we are face to face with a process called palatalization. Again, علاش palatalization? Because all the sounds that we have at the beginning, the s, z, are not palatal, but when they are found before a high front vowel, they become palatal. Do you understand? So this is what we refer to as palatalization. An alveolar becomes a palatal. That's true. Okay, so that's the answer, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if there is someone who can call this claim into question or ask a question about it or provide a counter argument. We are open to all suggestions, but this is mostly the logical explanation for this. All right. Now, how can we write the rule? Because you have write a formal rule. Okay. Now, in a formal rule, there are. I would agree that there are different ways. Sometimes we choose just to use the voice adjectives like plus voice plus palatal. Is it part of assimilation? We cannot. Thank you, Picasso. Mr. Picasso. We cannot call it assimilation here for the simple reason that assimilation occurs between consonants. That's the first argument. Here it's not. We cannot have a consonant that assimilates to a vowel. Yes, we have it, but it's rare. Here it's better. We'd better call it. You see, a palatalization, just like that. The process is more. It's even there are the reason why I am hesitating to answer you directly is that there are textbooks and I can even tell you that Roger Lass is talking about palatalization, puts a big question mark as to whether it's part of assimilation or not. Other people would talk about secondary articulation, but we don't have it here. So let's use the more concrete term, palatalization. It's an ization process. We have labialization, palatalization. We talked about them before. You see? Part of assimilation, yes, but to call the process, to call this a process of assimilation is very broad. Better call it a process of palatalization. Picasso, is that fine? Another reason, Mr. Picasso, why we cannot call it assimilation is that what is the answer? What is the feature that assimilates? What is the feature that assimilates? It's palatality. Which sound gave palatality to this sound? A vowel. But can we say that a vowel is palatal? No. À la rigueur, on peut parler de secondary nasalization. We can have a vowel taking the feature of a consonant, of nasality. But in this case, no. So it's more of, call it palatalization. A non-palatal sound becomes palatal in a given environment. Okay, thank you, Picasso. Now, I have a challenge for you, ladies and gentlemen. What is the feature? What is the feature? This is good. This is mental. These are mental gymnastics. We have this. Okay. And we have this. All right. Tell me, ladies and gentlemen. Distinctive features. Think of something we said before. What is coming to these? What is coming to all of these? What is coming to all of these? They are what? There is one feature that is common to them. I need your answer, just to see. There is one feature that groups all these, just one feature, apart from plus consonantal. Now, this is not anterior. This is not anterior. This is not anterior. It's the other one. Which one? Okay. Yes, Nathalie Leblanc. They are all coronal sounds. T is a coronal sound. S is a coronal sound. Z is a coronal sound. Ch, sh, j. These are all coronal sounds. Faiza or Faiza, alveopalatal. There is, they are alveolar and palatal مخلطين, no? But these are strictly alveolar, these are palatal, this is alveopalatal. But there is one feature that they all share. It's the one that Nathalie Leblanc has just mentioned. It's the fact that they are coronal. Okay? Now, question number 2. What is it that these have in common? And what is it that these have in common? In other words, what is the feature that we have here that is lost here? So we have to, of course, nuni nunus, they are minus sonorant. Very good. Chernobyl, continuant. Okay. Yeah, they are continuant. Yes. Okay. مزيان. Chernobyl says we're talking about these. They are plus continuant. But is it the feature at stake لان احنا كنقلبوا على the core feature that has to change هنايا. If we use for example continue with the site Chernobyl, okay, ها هو عندنا continuity هنا, il n'a pas changé. You understand? So we are looking for a feature that is common to these sounds that changes here. Okay. So all of them are, oh yes, T, S, Z are, احنا عندنا غير two features هنا. شتي two features? No, سي محمد الزرقي, it's not coalescence. No, I'm afraid it's not. شتي؟ دابا, please. لا, it's not delayed release. No. Delayed release, Mr. Picasso would apply just for ch. Okay, ch. I have a suggestion, and it's just my reaction to the data, and see if you find it logical or not. My answer to this question is that this plus coronal plus, plus anterior, are these, ladies and gentlemen, please, are these plus coronal plus anterior? Yes or no? The answer is yes, they are. So T, S, and Z share the feature of plus coronal plus anterior. Okay? What changes here? And what is the feature that changes here? And what is the feature that is kept? Answer: T, Ch, Sh, and J. They are also plus coronal, but they have lost anteriority. They are no longer plus anterior. Do you understand? So what we have here is that a plus coronal plus anterior becomes minus anterior. It means that it's still a coronal, but it's this time minus anterior. You understand or no? I repeat. Plus coronal plus anterior becomes minus anterior. Is that fine or not? Please say yes if you find this explanation logical. Barho says plus sonorant minus, okay, yes, minus sonorant. That's true because it's an obstruent, yes. So minus sonorant plus anterior plus coronal becomes minus anterior. Exactly. This is exactly the point. Yes, exactly. So let me just adopt that rule written by Barraho. Thank you. That's correct. So please, if you find this logical, type yes or one, or instead of remaining silent. And if I have explained this in a clear enough way, say it. All right? So that I can know whether I'm doing things in the right way or not. Okay, Natalie is always writing this number one. Thank you. Okay, whatever. No, she always confirms what I say. So thank you very much. So what we have is, look at this. Plus anterior. No, I have to write it in a clear way. The rest, are you still confused? I need your feedback, please. Okay, all right. So we have, donc, what is it? Okay. Yeah, this is look, what do these have in common? They are, okay, plus coronal. الناس اللي ما عارفاش plus coronal. Coronal sounds are made by the blade of the tongue. فهاد الستة ديال لي consonant, when you pronounce them, the front part, the blade of the tongue is involved. And the blade of the tongue forms like something, a shape like a crown. داك الشيء اسمه coronal, la couronne. Okay, so we have plus coronal plus anterior. Why anterior? Anterior بالعربية تعرف بالدارجة sound اللي anterior أي sound كيتبرونونسا من الالفيولار ريدج لبرا كيتسمى anterior. Donc T is an anterior, Th is anterior, P is anterior, F is anterior. K is not an anterior. Sh is not an interior. You see? لأن الحدود هو الالفيولار ريدج، هو الحد الفاصل بين بلس انتيريور وماينس انتيريور. فوالا دونك علاش ما خليناش غير هادو؟ انا متفق مع بالرحو لان هادو بلاس كورونال بلاس انتيريور كيعطيني حتى ن ما كاينش عندنا هنايا. دونك الفو ليكسكلور. كومون اون بو ليكسكلور؟ نقولوا بلي we have a minus sonorant because a nasal is a sonorant ولا minus nasal كاع حتى minus nasal تخدم لينا هنايا. Okay, so we have this feature matrix. هادشي becomes شوفوا لي الصون اللي عندنا هنايا تش ش ج. دونك تش انا هادو كنكتبهم غير باش نعقل باش تعرفوهم وصافي باش تعرفوا على شنو وقع. ش and then you have sh and then you have j. Ch, sh and j are exactly like t, s and z. The only difference is that minus anterior كيولي لي انا sorry plus anterior كيولي minus anterior. علاش؟ لان هادو ch is minus anterior حيت فيه لا بارتي ش اللي هي في البالات. قلنا لكم يعني باللي anteriority كتبدا من الالفيولار ريدج outwards. إلا مشينا سنتيمتر ولا مليمتر من الالفيولار ريدج ما بقيناش بلاس anterior. alright, دونك هنايا هذا is it a minus sonorant? bien sûr. Is it a plus coronal? bien sûr. And is it plus anterior? no. okay, دونك هنايا في هذه الحاله هذه كنكتبوا غير داكشي اللي كيتشونجا only what changes. دونك هنايا كنكتب minus anterior. voilà. Fin. Okay, so is it before? Is it after? Before. Yeah. So we write something like this. هذه يكون خط مستقيم. So it's like this. Before. اش كيعني هذا؟ يعني هذا كيوقع هنا هالبلاصه ديالو هنايا. A vowel which is high and front. So we say, how do we describe a vowel? It's, of course, you can either write V, ممكن نكتبوا V, ممكن نحولوها لفيتشر. حتى اللي يكتب V راه مزيان. Mais it's better to show, sounds in terms of their feature content. So we have plus syllabic. هذه كتعطي لي vowel. Always plus syllabic is a vowel. Some consonants can be plus syllabic, but that will depend on content. So احنا في لو كونتكست ديالنا احنا حيدنا لي كونسون. دونك خص يكون قبل اون فويل. And this vowel has to be front and high. Okay? So plus high. And then you have plus front. Although the feature plus front is better expressed as minus back, okay? ولكن ماشي مشكل نديرو plus front. نعاود هذه. So here plus syllabic, plus high, and then plus front, and life is good. Life is good here. I hope you understand this, ladies and gentlemen. Plus high, minus low. هدى أهلا أستاذة هدى. She is my brilliant master student. Thank you for your participation with us, هدى. Plus high, minus low, plus high, minus low. I think they are a bit, there is some redundancy there. So by virtue of saying plus high, you are automatically excluding minus low. And then minus back. Yes, for minus back, probably a consonant which is minus back. Sorry, a vowel which is minus back here. But we have a plus central. So minus back can include also a central vowel here. So I'd rather we kept front for this, specific case. Although front is not common as a feature, but it serves our purposes here, so you can keep it. Thank you, Huda. Thank you very much. Hardworking Huda. Okay, so is this واش هاد صافي سالينا هذا وقيلا انا فيني. Okay, which should be represented, justify. Okay, I think this is done. يلا. Do I have students here who are willing to see exercise 2? Say yes, so that I will not talk to myself and to Natalie and Huda, and even Morshid has gone. Si Mustafa has gone. Okay. Okay, nice. So let's just move to another exercise. Let me go and see the second set. Okay, nice. Okay, let's start with the data. Let's now move to the data. In Tohono Odham, you see, you can have this that starts with Jisk data. Say yes if you are there, please. Say yes if you find it. Okay. Professor, could you just state orally all the coronal and anterior sounds so that we can remember them? Yes, okay. Okay, you are saying yes means you are all set, thank you. But let me answer Asma Is-Sadiq, our friend from Abdul Malik Sadi, I guess. Okay. Mustafa Morshid, you have disappeared, Assi Mustafa. Okay. You are one of the dynamos of these live sessions. All right. Okay. Allah yuslik bi khair wa ala khair, si Mustafa. Okay. Nice. In answer to Asma Is-Sadiq, and this is going to be a revision for all of you. Okay. So we have coronal. Some people would say coronal. I heard from my professor, in linguistics course at that time that is both coronal and coronal. Okay, so we have coronal and we have anterior. These are confusing features for so many students. Okay, let me repeat this. Let me have a sip first. Look, coronal راه حتى فاش كنسميو هاد الاسماء راه ماشي اعتباطيا. They are not given these names just haphazardly. No, there is a reason for that. So a coronal sound is I don't know how I can. Okay, just imagine that the tip of the tongue is something like this. Okay, but anyway, it's not flat. The tip of our tongues are not flat like this, but they form something that looks like a crown, the blade of the tongue here. You have a smooth transition until you have this U-shaped, turn. And this looks like this shape, which is the shape of a crown, la couronne. That's why the dentist says, "Rendirons une couronne." On va couronner, deux molaires, par exemple. You see, so and virus tagi, that's why it's called coronavirus, because its representation is something like this. Okay, it's schematic representation. Okay, so coronal sounds are all the sounds that are pronounced by having the coronal part of the tongue, the blade of the tongue, touching an organ, a passive articulator. Donc, can I say that m is a coronal? لا, m is not a coronal. علاش? Because the tongue is not involved, let alone the blade of the tongue. Okay? Can I say f is a coronal? No, we cannot say f is a coronal for the same reason. Can I say th is a coronal? The answer is yes, we can. Why? Because you cannot pronounce th if you don't bring the front part of your tongue, the blade of the tongue, between the two teeth, the upper and lower teeth. So th is a coronal. Let's write it. احنا بدينا على برا ندخلوا. Okay? So coronal sounds are th. What's the voiced counterpart of th? أحسن حاجة هو نديروها voiced, voiceless. Every sound has a voiced counterpart if it's voiceless and vice versa. So you have th and you have th. Can I say s and z are coronal sounds? Yes, because when you want to produce them, you need to place the blade of the tongue somewhere near the alveolar ridge. Okay, so what is important here is the tongue. So you have s, z are also coronals. Can I say t and d are coronal sounds? Yes. T, d. Can I say sh and j are coronal sounds? Yes. Sh and then j. Can I say that ch and j are coronal sounds? Yes. So ch. Ch and j. These are the coronal sounds. What is it that makes them coronal? What is it that makes them coronal? Minus back, minus around. Okay, I'll answer you, please, Asma, for this question. Thank you. هنايا. All these sounds involve blade of the tongue. This, this shape. This is the tongue, and it's this shape. اشتفادوا. You cannot pronounce them without this marvelous part of the tongue. And this is the one that brings us a lot of trouble because we use it a lot when we gossip. Okay, so here, yeah, th, you need this. The, you need this. S, you need this. Z, all of them, you need this. You understand? This part of the tongue. That's why we call it coronal. دابا نشوفوا anterior. What is anterior? An anterior sound is a sound pronounced between the alveolar ridge outwards. يعني une consonne qu'on prononce à partir de la région alvéolaire اللي هي فين كنطقوا ت d etc. Okay, Asma, I thought you were from Abdul Sadi. I'm really sorry. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Okay, so all the sounds that are pronounced from the alveolar ridge outwards are all called anterior sounds. Can we have some sounds that are both anterior and coronal? Yes, of course. We have just seen the example. So let's try. نشوفوا الcoronal sounds. Anterior sounds. نبداو بالحدود. T and D. Anterior, yes, they are anterior. So we have T, we have D. S, Z, are they anterior? Yes, they are. S, Z. Okay. N, نسينا N. حتى خصنا نزيدو حتى هنايا N. N is the nasal. The difference is that it's nasal. N. Can I say, okay, th, and you have the. كل شيء اللي كتبرونسا من الالفيولار هنايا. ف the, and then you have m, and then you have b, and then you have p. All these are anterior sounds. Anterior, it means from the alveolar ridge outwards. Can we say that ch is an anterior sound? لا. علاش؟ حيت فيه لا بارتي ت yes ولكن فيه لا بارتي ش. ش is a palatal ما محسوبش. لا. So it's not not an anterior sound, okay? Now let's just move. Yeah, so Asma says, can we have plusyllabic minus high, minus back, minus round? Rounding may not be at stake. That's why I, yeah, r is a coronal, l is also a coronal. Yes, that's for l, r, yes, yes. They are here and there. R, l, r, and l. All right, thank you. R, yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Nuni Nunus. God knows who this Nuni Nunus. It may take us a few months before we discover who she is or who he is. Okay, good. Nice. So do you think we should move to the other data set? Let's move to the other data set, please. So look at GISC data. Look at GISC data. Yes, please. Okay, GISC data. Go there and be ready. And okay, GISC data. The question is t and d, ch, j. Let me tell you one thing. Before I even read the occurrences, you can make a hypothesis. It always starts with a hypothesis that is logical. Which is more likely to derive from which? Is it t, d, deriving from ch, j, or the reverse? Okay, so the answer is that naturally we are expecting t and d to be the original sound, and ch and j are the derivations. علاش لأن هادشي كاين في العالم كامل. You see, ch, you have it in Moroccan Arabic. People who use ch, Chamelk, and then you have it also in Italian ch, but this ch comes from k, which became ch, so it's a derivative. You see, and then you have something from sorry, you have you have this in some Gulf countries. In Iraq, for example, k is always a ch, and it has become sh in certain areas. So this is a first step towards what we call spirantization. So this process is called affrication. And t becoming ch, k becoming ch, p becoming p, t becoming ts. These are well-known processes in world's languages. So with this idea in mind, we can start this, this data set. Sorry. We have G. Look at this G, and then you have let's look at G and then Ch. واخا نحن نبداو سيستيماتيكمون باسكو الناس معنا خصهم يبداو دو فاسون سيستيماتيك. عندنا ت and نشوفوا ت and where they occur. يلا د فين هي ت د هي الاولى. The first occurrence of t is in 1 2 3 4, maybe the seventh. It's sta, t, num, etc. In the first row you have a t there that comes after s. Okay, and then you have a second one which is word initially before o, or is it a shva there? I cannot see, but it's an o there. Yeah, it's an o. Okay, t is also after an h sound and before a w sound. As you can see here, we have different environments for t. Look at taht in the second column again. You see the same thing there. So the distribution for t is diverse. Let's look at d here. D, you have mudam, and then you have D plus S, and then you have D plus M again. So without even finishing this, we realize that T and D occur in different positions. Okay, in different positions. Kautar, you are saying initial. I don't know what you mean. Do they occur in syllable initial position, for example? Let me see. No. They don't occur in syllable initial position. No. Okay, so T and D in our situation here occur in different environments. Now let's see their counterparts. My expectation is that the counterpart will be in a very restricted environment. So let's see. J before E. حسبوا معي. And J before E, and another J is this weird vowel. It's a high front vowel. Okay, it's a high front vowel. They differ somehow in rounding. I don't know what you are after here. So please let me. I don't know what you mean. This initial, maybe was it a reaction to something I said before? Well, if there is a request or a reaction on your part to this, then let me know directly. If it's fine, then we can go ahead. Okay. So look at this. Ch, J. نديرهم ensemble. كاين G and then chu. What is characteristic of E and O? E is what? Is a high vowel, high front. O is high back. So what do they share? A high vowel. Déjà عندنا هاد الحدس. We have this intuition that it's before a high vowel, but let's see if it applies. Okay? So we have the third one. So number 3 is what? Okay, we have chum like this. It's a U, which is a high vowel again. J in the fourth one, it's a high vowel. That M that is upside down is a high vowel. And then we have J with a high vowel again. And what else? Where is it? So look at the second row now. You have in the second example again before that weird vowel which is high, and then you have okay, so you have a ch before that high vowel and ch before that high vowel, j before u. You see, j before e, j before o. So we have successfully made it because we have made it clear now. Now it becomes clear. Sorry. That ch and j occur exclusively before high vowels. Now, in order to check this, can I find, for example, t and d occurring before high vowels? نشوفوا دابا في data. This is how we analyze. After we find the rule for the derived version, we check it against the other version. لان ما خصهمش يكونوا حتى باش تسمى complementary distribution. They should not occur in the same environment. دونك نرجعوا نشوفوا الت and t واش can we find them before high vowels. Let me go back to the data. Alors هل الأولى ما كايناش no. You see, no. I don't think we have a counterexample here. No, we don't have a counterexample. Which means this, as Miss Asma Sadiq rightly says, t and d here are underlying. Why are they underlying? They are underlying because they both occur in they both have a wider distribution than their counterparts, than ch and j, for example. Okay, so you find t and d in many environments. Kautar wrote no twice. Tell us, please, Kautar. Okay, so I'm afraid I did not, maybe you referred to something else before, you know. So like the current trend here, الحياة becomes الحياة, meaning life. Yes, except that in Arabic it's almost now context free. You know the difference between context sensitive and context free. Context free, wherever there is a t, there is a ch. It becomes a ch that can be context free, and it's usually a historical process. Context sensitive means it's rule based, it's rule governed, and it's predictable. So I close the bracket here. Yeah, Kautar, yeah, very good. It's elsewhere. So t and d have a wider distribution. They occur in multiple environments, while ch and j, their affricate counterparts, occur strictly before high vowels. Okay, so let's answer the questions now. Okay, in which context does each sound occur? I think we can answer this. One of them occurs before, all that you need to do is list the environments here. And the other one is before high vowel. Question, which pair of sounds is underlying? The pair of sounds that is underlying is t and d, of course. Why? Justify, because the question asks us to justify. So one of the criteria is the elsewhere condition. Wherever there is elsewhere, it means that that's the underlying. Yes. You know, the sound that is not predictable by rule, and the sound that occurs in wider contexts than the other sound is the one that qualifies for the underlying representation or the underlying sound. Okay, nice. Now, write a formal. Okay, so we have another question here. Write a formal rule to account for the alternation. Let's write a formal rule, to account for this alternation. So we have t and then d. What is the commonality of these two sounds? What is common? Nuni Nunus rightly says that, so these are obstruents just to هادو باش نحيدوا علينا nasals. Yeah, they are alveolars, Chernobyl, when it comes to their place of articulation. Now, in terms of the features, because we have to, as you can see, when you mention some sounds can be redundant. Some features, okay, some feature specifications can be redundant. For example, when I know that I have just two consonants, why should I say that they are minus syllabic? Because as long as they are consonants, they are minus syllabic. So we don't need to, okay, for example, here we don't need to exclude vowels because they are excluded a priori. Okay, so yeah, yes, Kautar, yes, we can see that they are more predictable. Yes, so we can use the minus sonorant feature here. علاش كنستعمل minus sonorant هنايا؟ باش نحيد عليا nasals. Okay, and are they coronal? Yes, they are plus coronal, but okay, let's say plus coronal. And we have a whole list here, but we will keep just the ones that are necessary. Okay, are they plus? So what? Plus coronal. Yes. Now we have a situation now, ladies and gentlemen, where t and d, it means stops, become affricates. So let's play with a feature here that indicates affrication. You know what an affricate is? The ones who do not know, an affricate is a stop that has a fricative release. T and then sh. P and then f, P, like the German P, like apple, for example. Okay, so the feature that needs to change here, here in this rule, we have to mention the fact that what changes is, a sound into an affricate, which means that we have a feature here which is minus, it becomes plus there. Okay, so here minus sonorant, and so I think who did that? Is it Chernobyl or someone else who provided us? Yeah, it's Nuni Nunus. Okay, so here, if I have minus sonorant minus delayed release, do we have other sounds that should we add another feature here, or are they enough? To specify t and d. Okay, look, Huda, I think with the presence of delayed release, I think it's implied that that what we have here is a stop, is a minus continuity. It implies that. Okay, I think it implies whenever you have a minus delayed release, it means that you have a plus continuity there. Sorry, a minus continuum there. So I don't think that's a feature that needs to be added here. Okay, to exclude the fricative, but we have used this delayed release feature to block any fricative interpretation. All right, because minus delayed release implies what? Implies that in the structural change you have plus delayed release. Okay, so it's a stage before, it's a pre-fricative stage in a sense in the course of sound change. Okay. Okay. Plus anterior. What do we exclude here if we say plus anterior? If we say plus anterior here, because we don't have k and g that affricate, so it's better to, I think, keep these minus sonorant, minus delayed release. Yeah, you can add plus coronal, plus anterior. But here again, this feature of minus delayed release means that t and d are the ones that are open to this delayed release thing. But we can add plus coronal here. All right. Although the two features here can do their job without any problem. But if you want to exclude something like k, which will be ch, I think you can include coronality here. But just let me know, ladies and gentlemen, it's this feature here that is most important. Okay, so by the way, yeah, okay, fine, it's okay. Yeah, look at this. I would say that even minus sonorant here should go. علاش? Because only obstruents can have this feature of minus or plus delayed release. Sonorants are a sonorant cannot bear this feature of, like r is a sonorant. Can you have plus or minus delayed release? Y is a sonorant. Can it have plus or minus delayed release? So we can do this even without this feature here. You see, it had delayed release. Excludes in itself. It excludes a lot of sounds. It excludes vowels because vowels can never be delayed release. It also excludes sonorants because sonorants cannot be. شنو عندنا في sonorants؟ ل, r, w, y. We have liquids. We have glides. شنو آخر؟ liquids, glides, nasals. هادو كاملين ما يصلحش لهم delayed release. هذا غير يمشي. It doesn't have anything to do here. You don't need to specify. بالحق in an exam, if you specify it, the teacher would certainly consider it correct, as long as you have this. L'histoire, the story is on this. Okay. Delayed release plus coronal. Yes, for plus coronal we can do that. It becomes what? It becomes plus delayed لا لا سنكتبها correctly. Okay. It becomes plus delayed release. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you agree with this first? Do you have any question about this? If we add minus continuant here, this feature again does not apply to continuants. It applies to a stop that becomes fricative. So here we are face to face with the redundancy. Okay. So here, where does this occur? In a vowel that is high. Okay. So before, I don't know whether. Okay, let me rewrite it here because the students need to copy this. Okay. So minus coronal, okay, yeah, plus coronal minus delayed release becomes plus del rel. This is called the structural description. This is called the structural change, where before, oh my God, I don't know how to use this space correctly. Yeah. Where? So let me draw a clear line here. Before a vowel which is high. Either you write V high or plus syllabic high. Okay. High and then plus syllabic. So I write it here. So let me write it here. Plus syllabic. This is the idea. This is it. Prof, why don't we have plus anterior? We can have plus anterior if, yeah, especially that we are not dealing with English. If we know that a language has ch and j, but not k, for example, we don't need plus anterior. Yeah, I think we need anteriority here. To exclude k and g, we need plus anterior. I agree with you. Anterior will be fine here. So I agree with Picasso in this case. Yes. باش نحيدوا علينا داك k and other stops. So anteriority here is necessary. And the process, of course, is called a process of affrication. I hope you are not confused, ladies and gentlemen. I agree that maybe sometimes you may have different versions of these specifications from different professors, of course, but at two conditions. And this variation in specifying the features may be tolerated. Number one, you have to specify the key feature. The key feature في هادشي كله هو minus delayed release كيرجع it becomes plus delayed release. That's the key feature. The others may be redundant, but it's not okay. I'm sorry, it's not, but it's not a problem. You know, it can be tolerated to some extent. But don't specify the features here. اللهم يكونوا redundant ولا يكونوا يجوا and they are wrong. That's what is serious about it. Okay, so if it's clear, then maybe we can move if you wish. We have 19 people here. It means the people are still, students are still interested in these, things. Okay. Look at this. You have an additional question I have not seen before, but we can answer spontaneously. What process applies to final sonorants in the data above? Write a formal rule. Final sonorants. Final sonorants. Let's look at the final sonorants, please. Yes, final sonorants. Ah, I think I found it. Yes, found it. Yes, 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 yes. What happens to final sonorants? um, is it voice in assimilation? I thought of something else. No, no, it's not. It's not voice in assimilation. Hiba. I think you have the process in mind, but the way you expressed it, it's not really voice assimilation. If you look at the sonorants, all the sonorants, including vowels, because vowels are also sonorants, in the word final position, you will find this little dot underneath, which means that they are voiceless. So what do we call the process according to which a voiced sound becomes voiceless? It has a name. It's called devoicing. Okay, so here sonorants. Now it's not spirantization. It's Natalie. No. Spirantization is when a stop becomes a fricative. Here, what we have is a situation of devoicing as nun, nuni, nunus. I hope one day you will, because you are providing us with good answers, but incognito, that's fine anyway. Now, here sonorants become voiceless at the end of the word. This is called devoicing. Okay? Voilà. Is it a natural process? The answer is yes, it is. And you have a very famous example of word final devoicing from German, except that this time it's not sonorants, it's obstruents. There is a famous process known as German word final obstruent devoicing, where all obstruents in German, become voiceless when they are at the end of the word. Okay, so the situation here is that of a sonorant. What is the key characteristic of a sonorant? Is that they are all voiceless. Sorry, it's the opposite. Sonorants are all voiced. Wherever there is a sonorant, there is a specification of, but theoretically there is this. They are plus voiced, though we don't specify them. It's enough to say sonorant, so that people understand that this has to do with a voiced and rather than a voiceless, segment. So let's write this rule here. What is the rule? The rule is that you have a sonorant that becomes sonorants that become voiceless word finally. Okay, how do we write the rule, ladies and gentlemen? Very easy. So you can say sonorant in formal plain English. Sonorants become voiceless or are devoiced or undergo the process of devoicing. Okay, word finally. So here we have this as rightly writes, but I have to discuss with you the feature plus voice. So you have plus sonorant. My friends, when I have plus sonorant, do I need to specify it for voicing? لا, because a sonorant is by default plus voiced, so it does not need to. Voicing will be just a redundant. It will not, we don't have a sonorant which is voiceless, and therefore specifying sonorant for voice is not. It's just a redundant feature, as Natalie says, as Asbarho says as well. Yeah, thank you. So it's enough to say sonorant. Enough, just one feature, sonorant. A sonorant becomes what? Minus voiced. شوف كيف كتبته بس. My God. Where does it become minus voiced? Word finally. Asma, yes, I agree with you. Asma, yes, for the previous exercise. I think the comment arrived maybe later. Okay. Where does it? It's word finally. How do you write word finally? So you write this line here, and you write this symbol to indicate that it is a word final position. So we have answered the question here. All right. Okay. Now, are we done for this? نزيدوا شي exercise ولا بركة عليكم? Tell me. If the number of viewers is decreasing, I will be just talking to Natalie and Barraho and Hiba. Okay, but yeah, yes, I need 3 or 4 yeses just to encourage me to continue, please. Number 2, yes. Okay, the others, yeah, I need 1 more. Very good. Good. At least we have made Khulud say yes, because she is here. She is dormant here, you know. She has not written any, any comment. Anyway, Professor, do we have to mention 2 to 3 features? شوف أسماء, for feature specifications, just to get them right, this needs a lot of training, to tell you the truth. But it's better to write 2 or 3 to accurately specify the sounds that you have there, then to mention, for example, the wrong features. هذا هو الصعيب هو نديرو features that do not apply to our sounds. For example, د نديرو ليها plus sonorant. No, you see, so that's the danger. أما if we have 4 or 5 that specify with some that are redundant, you know, as long as you have the core features, بحال delayed release, as long as there is this delayed release, الآخرين واخا كيكونوا شوية redundant, you know, there are professors who can, you know, overlook this as long as you have these key features. Okay? But generally, we are supposed to specify all and only the necessary features. All and only the necessary features. Sometimes it's just one. Here. Why should I specify this for voicing? Why should I say minus obstruent? Why should I say, you know, I think these are the ones that, so as long as you have my plus sonorant, it means automatically it's a minus obstruent and it's a minus voice. Okay, please work on the data where the consonants show alternations. Yes, we are coming to that, lady, that's Hiba. Yeah. Let's work on that. Let's look. يلا قولي لي باش كتبدا الداتا باش نمشيو. يلا. You let me know, please. Hiba. I think it's the Mexican. I think the one that is in Sierra Populuca. Yes or no? The one that starts with wife. يلا زيت. That starts with wife. Okay, Barajo. All right. So let's have a look at it. Mexico. Okay. You know, Barajo said wife and Natalie said Mexico. There are 2 ways for referring to the same data set. Okay. Let me نشوف هنا. Yeah. Okay. Let me. How can I do that? Sorry. Excuse me. I just need to retrieve it. Probably. I have not saved it here. So let me just go to the Facebook page and retrieve it from there. Yeah. Enregistrer l'image et puis very good. Okay. يلا تبعوا معنا. Life without. Okay. Like a 50 with no 5. That's true. Okay. It has to do with the singular and plural. Nobility. Hiba, can you please work on the alternations? حتى هذه فيها alternations, I guess. So let's work on both of them, and if we have enough people here, we can go. فيها هي اللي فيها singular or plural. No, there is a data from in Sierra Populuca, as Natalie says, the one in Mexico. So go please there. Okay, so here we are asked to consider the following data and see the alternations. Okay, so the morphemes at hand are the possessive affix that shows alternations. The possessive affix. What is this possessive affix? It means in order to express, to say my, your, he, his, etc. Some languages prefer to have just a prefix or a suffix or an infix, depends. But some other languages, like Amazigh, they have a separate. And like English, of course, you have my, yours, is. They are not prefixes, but they are independent words. In any case, we have a language here where the possessive is expressed as a particle that attaches, that a morpheme that attaches to the stem. So let's see. Okay, so let's read. We have okay. We have wachum, and then you have ang wachum. Okay. So already we have this ang here. We have ang. Tak, we have an tak. So we have an so, etc. K, we have ang. Hep, we have an hep. Okay. And now, to tell you the truth, I looked at the data before. So here, what we have is a situation where the prefix a plus nasal, a plus nasal, alternates. For example, here, if you look at the data, okay, you have wa, and then ang wa, and then tak, you have an tak, and then t, etc. And okay, and look at this. Okay, tell us please about your observation about this data. Unfortunately, for the prediction of n, there is one counter argument. Systematically, the nasal in n, sometimes it's an, sometimes it's n. Okay. Kautar, we are talking about the data that starts with exercise B in Sierra Populuca, Mexico. The possessive affix is. We will not proceed until Kautar says yes. She found it. Kautar. So I need واش متبعين بعدها data. Have you found the data that were apart from the 3 or 4 students? Kautar, we need your answer, please, if you find the data, so that we can move on. Ok. Kautar, ما عارف يمكن عندها la connexion. Je pense que c'est un problème de connexion. Kautar says no. Alors, بلاتي شوف واش. I don't think we can. Well, how can I do that? Let me try and see if the screen can be shared. Kautar says yes now. Okay. No student left behind. That's the motto. Okay. Sera Populuka. Thank you. Thank you very much. So if we have a look at this data, ladies and gentlemen, at this data set, we will find an alternation between what and what? Between ang, the ng, I mean the voiced velar nasal, and n. Initially, and this is what I thought at the beginning, that ng occurs automatically with velars and n with alveolars. However, we are forced, because we have one counterexample, my friends. If you look at item 5, okay, word, the fifth word, what do we have there in that fifth word? You have hep. Yak. Hep does not start with an alveolar. It starts with a what? With a glottal. You see? Nevertheless, we have an hep. Do you understand? So this forces us to reconsider our rule that n occurs with alveolars and n occurs with velars. We need to modify this rule. Why? It's because we have one example of hep that nevertheless starts with n. It means that this morpheme is realized, the possessive morpheme is realized as n, is n before the velars, before the consonants which are velar, and as n elsewhere. Unfortunately, all the data there suggests that n occurs before alveolars, but we have one counterexample. So if we have one counterexample, we are not allowed to proceed with the rule. N occurs before other consonants. That's true. So as you can see here, just one counterexample كده رمينا كل شيء في zero. It nullifies all our attempts to explain. Also number one. No, but for number one, the w there, Natalie, what is w? W is called a labio-velar glide. Labio-velar. There is this velar part. Just as when you say f is plus labial. It's not bilabial, but it's a labial there. So w, it has this velarity. Say yes, Natalie, if you are convinced of this. W is not just labial, it's also velar. So the place of articulation is velar. So it should behave like g and k and ng, because it's the same place of articulation. But thank you for your observation, because I myself, spent a few seconds before I realized that this can still be accepted. But for the anhep, the fifth element, no. For the fifth element, we are forced to write elsewhere because of that single, counter example. Okay, so how do we write the rule here, ladies and gentlemen? So the rule So what are we going to say here? So the possessive affix here, we are, I don't know, my friends, here, if I have my S5ers here, واش درتو المورفوفونيمكس ولا بقيتو غير في الفونيمكس؟ je sais pas. I don't know, but I think that there is something related to this. So what we have here is a morpheme. We have alternating consonants, but we should specify a morpheme now. It's not a phoneme anymore, because the affix is a morpheme. Okay, so yeah, nuni nunus. Apart from, I'm talking just about with what to start. So this is used for a phoneme, yes or no? Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, did you do this notation here? Brace notation. This is how I would, yeah, an allomorph. Since this is a prefix, so what we should have is سميت هذا possessive, yes. Yeah, possessive, يلا, possessive. Possessive morpheme, and then you have to write a plus here to show that it is a prefix. برحوا واش درتوا هذا الشيء in your case? Yes, we did. So you did that. so that's a morpheme. So let me do it in a finer way. Kautar, are you a student at Mohammed V University or somewhere else? Yeah, Kautar. It's not. This is not a word boundary. It's a morpheme boundary. Okay. Let me out now. نشوفوا كيفاش سموها هنايا واش possessive morpheme ولا possessive affix. Just let's call it the possessive. So, what is the morpheme here? Yeah, we did, sir. Ibtisam says they did it. So, donc هنايا we are no longer in phonemics. In phonemics, we are asked just about the sound. They don't mention what type of morpheme it is. Like the previous exercises we did about ch and j, they did not specify in the exercise that we have a morpheme or an affix or a... No, it's just phonemics. That's why we start like this, my friend. We start like this. Of something like this becomes something like this, etc. But here, no. Here we are talking about the realization, to make it easier, the different pronunciations of a given morpheme. What is the morpheme? It's a plus a nasal. So let's call it a possessive morpheme, the possessive. Because it's a morpheme, شوفوا معايا عفاكم, because it's a morpheme, it should be written between two braces. Okay? Because it's a morpheme. إلا قلت لك مثلا the ed infinitive worked versus decided versus moved, the here خصو يتحط بين braces, because that's how we use, that's the notation used for morpheme. Hi. هاتي. And then I write possessive here. This possessive, is it a prefix or is it a suffix or is it an infix or is it a circumfix? It's a prefix. Donc كاين هذا البوزيسيف وكنديرو بلس هنايا. علاش بلس؟ حيت سي لو morpheme boundary. Yes, it's a prefix. Morpheme boundary. What is a morpheme boundary? For example, you have, let's say worked. We have work plus ed. So this plus here is the limit, is the borderline between one morpheme and another morpheme. We use plus. Nonos, thank you. ها هو. If I use plus here, إلا استعملت مثلا إلا قلت لكم plus possessive, it means that this possessive is a suffix. Okay? هنا لا عندنا prefix في الداتا, هذاك لو مورفيم عاد الكلمة. Le nom, the noun. Is that okay? So I think it's fine here. إلا عندكم أسئلة هنايا قولوها لي. So this possessive morpheme, ها هو, the morpheme is always, I repeat this for those of you who are confused. In exercises where the question says that you have a morpheme, a prefix, suffix, or whatever, usually it's prefix, suffix, okay? Okay? And you are asked to provide alternations ديالش. alternations ديال المورفيم of the morpheme that you have. In our case, in this data set, you have the possessive morpheme or just the possessive, okay? You say is realized as, is realized as, okay? We have two alternations here. My friends, because someone asked me on Messenger, what is the difference between the brace notation? Braces can be used جوج حالات in two ways. They are used in order to introduce, okay, to say that what we have inside is a morpheme, a prefix, for example, if the plus is here, and a suffix if the plus is here, okay? And then we open this brace when we have alternations, to show alternations. هادشي كنديرو حتى في الفونيميك. T is realized as ch هنايا and ch. So we open this brace, all right? So in our case, wait a minute. So the morpheme, so هنايا, what do we have? Should we have this brace? No, now we are in the domain of actual pronunciation. So we should open these square brackets. بحال allophone هنا عندنا allomorph. Donc allo هكا. You see? It's realized as, yeah, it's realized as, شوفوا معايا عفاكم. N. And in order to show that it's a prefix, I have to have a plus here. Yeah. All right. How can I describe, for example, a consonant which is ك. شنو عندنا هنايا؟ عندنا و ك و and k. W and k are what? Yes. So and elsewhere, and yes, and they are plus back. K is plus back. W is also plus back. Okay, so a consonant which is plus back, you can include here minus syllabic plus back. So minus syllabic plus back would do the job here. ولكن امتى؟ Here, so we have minus syllabic plus back. Minus syllabic just to indicate that we don't have a vowel. Okay, so k and w, you are right. And it is realized as n elsewhere. Is that fine? I need a confirmation from this 2 or 3 of the 17 people I have here. Natalie, yes, from an S5er, please. Okay. Yes, it's clear. Very good. Okay. Now let's move on to the, so write the rule that accounts for the alternations. And we have another exercise, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, another exercise here. Consider further data from Sierra Popolka. So here, I have a piece of advice, my friends. Yeah, Brho, G and N are also plus back. That's true. Yes, that was what we have here. I think this second part of this exercise, as you can see, it's the same language, and they're talking about the same morpheme, and I have a message for you. I have a message for you. شوف, sometimes you may be given data from Arabic, which you know, or from Darija, or if you speak Amazigh natively, you may be given data from Amazigh. Now, because you know Arabic, should you base your knowledge, the rule on your proper knowledge? لا. مش فهمتوني? Please deal only with the data, not with extra knowledge that you have about the language. For example, in our case, we have done exercise 1, but we have exercise 2 on the same language. Should I refer to exercise 1 and take the information? No. Donc هنا باش أعطاني الداتا exercise 2 separately from exercise 1, just to account from that data that I have there. I should refer to, to be objective, of course, because we have the same language here. So let's look at the possessive in this language here. We notice that, so we have p becomes p, m, it's y, it's n, yeah, p, m, sh, yeah, what do you notice? Yalla, tell me. I think I found I found it before because I looked at it before. Yes. So we have this situation. The possessive morpheme is realized as before labials. You understand? كيفاش غادي نعرف؟ عندي ب bilabial, so n كتولي عندي Same thing for number 11, m becomes m. Now, number 12, y is a palatal. So y is a palatal. So I'm expecting the nasal to be palatal. هذاك ن, it's a palatal in number 12. P, because it's a bilabial, it's m. Sh, because it's a palatal, it's n. M, bilabial, so it's very systematic here. So the possessive morpheme is realized as if the stem consonant, the first stem consonant, is a bilabial. And it's realized as n if, which is a palatal nasal, if the initial consonant is a palatal. And it's realized as a velar. ياك عندي velar هنايا. لا ما عنديش velar. عندي palatal. عندي okay. So I have just two places of articulation. I have m. Okay. So m before a bilabial and n before a palatal. Okay, so there is agreement here in place of articulation. So if the sound, according to this data that we have here, because we have just two, according to this data set, we have homorganic. Thank you, Natalie. It's a homorganic assimilation of place. Homorganic means what? Means the same place of articulation. M is bilabial, so the nasal also has to be bilabial. Y is palatal, so the nasal has to be palatal. So there should be this agreement. Now, what is the best way, the elegant way of, so let's answer the question, what alternating consonants can you identify? The answer is m and n. N means the n that is palatal. It's not a m, it's a n. Okay? Okay, so here it's m and ng. You are right. Which consonant is underlying? Provide justification. Tell me, please, here. Which consonant is underlying? It's m. Why? It's because m is what? Absolutely Noni Nunus and Nathalie Leblanc. Okay? It's because m is more widespread in languages. M is unmarked compared to ng. Very few languages have this palatal nasal. Okay, so that's number one. It's less marked. It's less marked. M is less marked. Ng is predictable. I absolutely agree with you. Plus, there is no word that starts with the. I guess here. هنايا إلا شفنا عاوتاني. So another reason, just another reason, is that if we look at the first row, there is no word that starts with this weird word. But there are words that start with m, like 11, for example. Okay, all these combine to make of m the underlying consonant. Now, tell me, please, how can we write the rule? I am testing you now. There's a very elegant way of writing it. I'm expecting it to show here in the comments. What is the notation that we use? Oh, great, Barahu. Yes, that's the alpha notation. Alpha place. So we have a nasal becomes alpha place before a consonant, which is alpha place. And I will write it and I will explain to you. Okay? So this is more of a phonological rule now. Okay, so we have plus nasal. Okay, becomes alpha place where before a consonant with alpha place. Okay, نكتبها هنايا. لا. I'm afraid I will confuse students here. Okay. So we have a plus nasal. ياك تشوفوا مزيان بعد هادشي. Plus nasal becomes alpha place before a consonant which has alpha place. هذا the alpha notation here. Okay. Nice. If you were to write a single rule, who had an alpha notation? We have answered C, question C. My friends, what do you think? Should we stop? Should we add another exercise? Should we? I don't know. Tell me. But we still have exercises to handle. Okay. We can add. Natalie says, let's see the others because they may be tired, and if they are tired, it doesn't. We still have one data. Okay, but let me see this data that we have. Which one? Is it the one that starts with the... Please tell me, Baraho, I'm a bit lost. I don't know what we have covered and we have not. I don't remember. So tell me the one that starts with what? واحد فيكم يقول لي عافاكم برحو. Mustafa, Natalie, you wanna kill us? برحو. That's the Lebanese Arabic data, I guess. Yes. لا. بتاكلي. Okay, let me see. All right, this is not Okay, واخا بالتالي. So we are asked to make to consider tense and lax vowels. Yes, yes. Asma, that's a very important question. In generative phonology, the feature plus or minus back can also include consonants. It's a feature that is shared by, because there are some processes, Asma is Sadiq, there are some processes that take place before or after, sometimes depending on the situation of the language, before back vowels like u and k and q, etc. Donc, all these vowels and consonants, they share this feature of plus back. Mais pas plus front. Front لا. Front في الكونسون كنعبروا عليها باش كنعبروها بانتيريوريتي. You see? بالانتيريور. صافي اسماء. Okay, I hope I have answered your question. Okay, all right. Mr. Mustafa is on his way. He says he is traveling, Natalie. So he's alive and kicking. Okay, nice. So let's go to the data that we have here. The one that comes from Lebanese Arabic. Consider, yeah, from Lebanese Arabic. Okay, so the distribution between, okay, E and E. E and A. That is to say, لا ماشي هذيك ناتالي ماشي هذيك. There is another data set that starts. Okay, على سلامتك سي مصطفى. Really nice to know that you have arrived sane and safe. Is off. Okay, good. Let me just what do we call it? Is off. We say sound and safe in English. Okay, or a safe and sound. Okay, so that the data starts with consider the tense and lax vowels, Batakili, etc., from Lebanese Arabic. Make sure you are there. I have to wait for 1 minute so that you indicate, you tell me whether you have found the data set or not. Natalie says yes. Well, yeah, بالتأكيد. Okay, nice. All right. So what do you observe between this E and A? Okay. So I think there is this interesting yes, E. Okay. So I think there is a tense vowel, so a lax vowel becomes tense where a lax vowel becomes tense where Asma, what do you mean novelar? Asma, do we describe consonants? Asma, I still need to, yeah. So when you have velar consonants, uvular consonants, maybe labiovelar glides, you have back vowels. All these share the feature of plus back, even if we also have consonants according to the feature models of generative phonology. Okay, my friends, it's not long vowels. Let's call them tense and lax. أنا الديتا ما كتبانيش مزيان. So you have بالتكلي. Okay, so can you consider, please help me with this data? نبرحوا no. شوف, it's far simpler than this. A lax vowel a lax vowel becomes what? Becomes tense word finally. Can you? Nunu, nuni, nunus. My God. Nuni, nunus. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Voilà. Yeah, this lax vowel or this tense vowel occurs word finally. The lax vowel occurs, okay, word finally. Is that okay? Look at this. This vowel, that E, occurs word finally. Okay? بلاتي برحو. I cannot see very well. Methyl, where is this methyl? Yeah, where is the problem, برحو? Yeah, we have methyl, yes, but it's not an exception. It's not an exception, C, برحو. Even if we have methyl, the two E's there, okay, are not like the ones that are word finally. So hiba, yes, tense vowels occur word finally. No, it's not. The data itself, it's not visually, it's not so clear. So I had to struggle. Okay. All right. So Mustafa says, I am now with my friend Mustafa Shihab. My greetings to Si Mustafa. I wish him all the best in his interesting topic of morphosyntax of English foreign language. I have a master's student who works on the same. So I will contact you, Mustafa, because she is working also on processability theory. So I will ask you probably to help this lady. Okay. Thank you very much, Si Mustafa. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Now let's go back to this rule. So we have a lax vowel, is dated tense vowel E, occurs word finally. Yes. So we have a vowel which is lax, it becomes tense word finally. Okay. So we have here minus syllabic plus syllabic means we have a vowel. And we have, so tense, meanwhile, lax vowel occurs, yes, occurs, in elsewhere. So let's, a plus syllabic. Tense like this. Word finally. Okay, so you have something like this. Tense. I'm afraid this is not clear. Okay, tense. Word finally. This is how you write it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, nice. Tell me, please, do you have further questions? Has this session been of some benefit to you? 3 hours have elapsed. I personally did not feel it because I like this exchange with you. Well, tell me your feedback, please, about these things, about what we have done so far. Is it okay? Is it not okay? Has it helped you or has it been a waste of time? Okay, we will wait for the feedback. Okay, Natalie, there is another data. It was very interesting. Thank you. عرفتيش غنديروا لهاد الداتا. Let's probably leave it until tomorrow because I myself am physically, unable to carry on. I'm really tired. Thank you very much. So maybe tomorrow, it depends. If you send me previous exams in syntax, because that's what your request was about, I will, make an announcement for a syntax session. And before the syntax session, we will work out the data that is remaining. Okay. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best, and let's meet on another occasion. Thank you, Barho. Thank you, Hiba, Mustafa, Natalie, Nuni, and everyone, Hiba, and everyone here who is watching me. So let's meet tomorrow, inshallah. But this will depend on whether people will send me and these students concerned will send me previous exams that they would like to work on. So I wish you a good night, and let's meet on our nearest occasion. Thank you very much.